Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday and wake up. Welcome to another episode of Wake Up with YPN. This episode is sponsored by Anderson and Houghton Law Office. My name is Jenna Polk, and I am the YPN co-chair this year. And today I am here with Emily Feagins, a mortgage loan originator and branch manager with Veridian Credit Union. Good morning, Emily. How are you?
I am good. How are you doing?
I'm good. So, Emily is here with us this morning to share some tips and insight on building and maintaining credit as we head into the 2023 buying season. So,
hmm
if anybody has any questions along the way, pop them down in the comments and we will make sure to address them. So, just to kind of kick it off, Emily, do you want to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about um, working in this field and how long you've been in the area?
Yeah, sure. And then actually, I hung up my manager hat a
Oh,
while ago to switch to mortgage lending,
okay.
but I was with the management team at Veridian for 15 years. I've been in the Iowa City, Coralville area that long. Been with Veridian for almost 20 years, so it's an exciting place to be. Mortgage lending is actually a little new to me. It's just been about a year since I joined this department, and it's been an exciting change, and I love every minute of it, even
Good.
considering the rate environment.
Yeah, yeah. It's been a pretty interesting year to start.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so do you want to talk a little bit about why it's important to make sure someone has strong credit when they're looking to purchase a home?
Yeah, absolutely. The credit really gets the options opened for mortgage lending and for financing. It shows what kind of borrower you are. So if you have just a little tiny bit of credit, there's not a lot for us lenders to look at to see what kind of borrower and payment history that you have. So for this, it's just such an important purchase of your life
Yeah.
and milestone. And for a lender to go off of like a thin file, it makes it kind of tough for those options to open up for that borrower.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Looking back from your experience, why has it become more important to maintain strong credit now as compared to in the past?
Sure. I mean, we all have, guidelines and lending um, checklists that we have to go by. And, I feel like there's more and more regulations, and we have to get the approval from so many different levels of a mortgage application. So it's just so important right now to have that activity and experiences listed on your credit so we can just say, look, they've paid this and they've paid that. And a diverse credit history is just so important more now than ever, just due to competitors and um, just making sure that those lenders have confidence in you as a borrower.
Yeah, absolutely. And, your credit score and your rate are directly correlated. So making sure that you have optimal credit so that you can have a better interest rate, especially
Yes.
now, so that it really increases your buying power.
Yes, absolutely. Especially with higher interest rates right now. I mean, they're higher than what we're used to, right? They're actually not too bad, not too scary. They're just not what we're used to. But that buying power is definitely a huge factor, especially right now um, in the mortgage world, because those rates can make a difference on your payment. And
Yeah,
so we want to be able to have your credit support that buying power exactly.
yeah, absolutely. So, what are some tips that realtors can share to help improve someone's credit?
Sure. I mean, obviously, if you're speaking with a realtor, you're in the moment of, okay, I'm going to buy soon.
Yeah,
And if we can just get a hold of those people sooner than later, it definitely does help. We work closely with our consumer lenders on the side of auto loans and credit cards and things like that. And a lot of times when I get somebody in my office that just doesn't have credit, especially in our market, we've got people graduating college. And when they decide to stay in our area, if they haven't done anything while they went to school, they just don't have that credit built up. So the earlier we can catch an individual to make sure that they have some active and positive credit going on there, the better. So my advice would always be, from a realtor standpoint, is ask them where they bank. They probably have a good relationship with that bank, and make sure that they're establishing that credit through that financial too, because
Yeah.
we all want to work together and get you into that home.
Yeah, absolutely. So if people don't have a large credit history or even, much of a credit history at
Mhm.
all, what is something that they can do to start building that credit history?
Yes. So, most financials around here offer their own credit card. This is not me saying go out and get credit cards, but and that's why it's so important to trust your bank and credit union, um, to get you into that safe card that makes sense for you at the place where you are in your life. I've always said that to college kids over the years, just something small. You don't have to go crazy with it. This doesn't mean that you should go shopping, and max it all out, but something safe at a financial that you trust will definitely get you that history and something reporting and building. So then when you do need a new car or buy a home, we've got something to go off of. So that's my biggest suggestion, is meet with your financial who you trust, and see what options you have out there.
Yeah. And then if you do have a credit card, to start building that credit history, making sure that you're not using all of the credit that's
Yes.
available.
Yep, we like to just, our rule of thumb is try to do 30% or less. Um, don't max that out, because that's not a good effect on your credit. If you have $1,000 credit card and you go spend $999 and then you're only paying your minimum payment each month, that actually hurts your credit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Absolutely. So if someone has good credit, what are some great ways of maintaining that to really
Mhm.
maximize the buying power for someone who already has existing credit?
Yes. So payment history is the biggest thing. If you have a car loan or if you have a credit card, just making sure that you make those monthly payments in a timely fashion, and that you don't take out a bunch of debt all at one time either. I see that a lot at Christmas time, where the department stores might have a discount if you open their card. Well, you don't want 4 or 5 things all of a sudden going on your credit at one time. So just being aware of the credit that you're borrowing as well, and those monthly payments, being on time and making good efforts for that. I do One of the biggest mistakes, or misconceptions, is, well, I'll take out a car loan and pay it off as fast as I can, and that'll be better for my credit. Longevity is very, very huge for your credit and your credit, score and history as well. We want to see 12 plus months of payment history in
Okay,
order to get a better idea.
12 plus. That's good to know. Good to know.
Yeah,
Okay, we have a viewer question. If someone misses a payment, how long does it take for them to repair the damage done to their credit?
sure. Another thing I always say is, boy, it's easy to make your credit go down. It goes down a lot faster than it goes up, but things do happen. I mean, we learned a lot during the pandemic that things just happen, and sometimes you have to miss a payment. If you do have a mortgage currently and you're buying a new home, that's your most important payment. And just for it to fall off necessarily, it'll take a while. On a credit report, it'll show, like, if you're more than 30 days late, that's when it gets recorded with the credit bureau, that you were late 30 days. And so if that's really close to when you're borrowing now, we'll probably just ask some questions. But as 6, 12, 18 months go past,
Yeah.
your credit will recover from that one payment. One payment won't be detrimental to you, but always try to reach out to whoever that debt is with to see if they have options before you're late.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, we have another one. Yay.
Yay!
During the home buying process, how often is the buyer's credit score pulled? Does multiple pulls hurt credit?
So, yes, I mean, there are hard pulls when you're buying something like a home. We are doing a hard pull on your credit for that initial pre-qualification. Um, in our pre-qualifications at Veridian, and I believe it's pretty standard across the line with our, other financials in the area, are good for 4 months. So we're not going to re-pull. We will take a look softly at the end just to make sure you didn't go out and buy that new, BMW or something that would mess up that application.
Okay, perfect, perfect. What is the quickest way to raise your credit?
Sure. So, well, quick, like as I mentioned just a minute ago, it takes time to go up. It can go down super fast. Um, Going up, it just takes time and patience. And that's where I really feel for my borrowers when they're doing all the right actions and making strides, but it is a waiting game. Most things report to the credit bureau at the end of each month. So if you get some of those items that might need some attention taken care of before that month cycles, typically you will see a boost. But
Yep.
it's, if you're needing 50 to 100 points increase, you're just going to have to be patient and continue the hard work on getting that increased.
Okay. And oh yeah, we have so many questions.
I know, I love it.
What is the minimum credit score to be approved for a home loan?
Well, we like to see scores around 640 or higher to open some of those options up. However, at Veridian, we do have some grants and things like that where if your score is a little less than that, we take a look at some of the um, opportunities that are out there where we might be able to send it to another avenue depending on your income and depending on the price of the home. So a lot of different variables. What I would definitely suggest is if you're somebody that wants to get started on looking at a home, but you're nervous, always reach out. And because sometimes people are more nervous and then I pull their credit. I'm like, this is great. What are you talking about? So, um, and I can help too on looking at that credit, taking action steps on, and any financial will do that for you. Like, this is where you're at, this is where we need you, and then we'll be able to see what steps you can take to improve if you need to.
Wonderful. So, and then that kind of ties in with, agent responsibilities when we meet with our buyers, making sure that they are getting that initial contact with a lender so that they can start to have some of those credit conversations. But from the mortgage originator standpoint, what are some questions that you feel would be good for the agent to start to discuss with the buyer in regards to
Hmm.
credit?
Yes. So, just do you have credit is and some individuals will say, well, yeah, I have student loans, and be cautious with that though, because most of the new home buyers or first time are somewhat tend to be in a younger age, and
Yep.
so those student loans probably have been deferred most of this time, so it's still not going to give you a good picture as a lender on what that payment history has been, because it's probably been deferred for a couple years. Especially right now, everybody's is deferred, waiting to see what the government does. So just what type of credit do you currently have? Do you have a credit card? Have you had an installment loan, like an auto loan or a personal loan? And if they're answering yes, then the realtor should definitely try to get them in contact with a mortgage originator, and just to see what kind of options they would have.
Yeah, no, that's great. Oh, another question. What is something you recommend or want people to know when buying their first home when it comes to their credit?
Well, I would say this is a huge purchase and it is a huge debt onto your credit, but it is awesome for your credit in the end. A mortgage loan on your credit has a very, very good impact. It shows responsibility. It shows, um, that you can support a debt like this. And so once that initial loan gets onto your credit report, it does have benefits to your credit and how that looks to lenders for future purchases.
Mhm. And something that some people don't typically think about is in this day and age, there are still quite a few people that like to pay cash for a lot of their major purchases, like cars
Mhm.
and things like that. So just keep in mind that if you are paying cash for things, you may not have a credit score, even though you are, fully supporting yourself in your
Yes.
purchases and doing all that you should. So making sure that even if you do pay cash, you are still having some sort of credit so
Hmm.
that you do have that history. If people are wanting to check their credit at home before they go into a lender, is there a specific website that you would recommend that people use that doesn't damage their credit by checking it?
Yes, absolutely. So annualcreditreport.com is a good resource. You won't get your score, but it's a good, I think you can pay, but don't do that. Um, it'll have you look at all three credit bureaus. So then you want to make sure that they match. Because if there's something weird on one and not on the other two, then something is reporting wonky. And we take the middle score, most lenders, Veridian does anyway, not the median, but the middle. So if you have one bureau that's reporting incorrectly, like an issue that maybe you had years ago and the other two have it satisfied, that'll bring down that middle opportunity for you. Um, Also, most financials now, I know Veridian's mobile app, we have our own credit central. And so you can actually do your monthly snapshot through our app. It'll pull your credit, but it's not a hard pull. It'll show if any new debts have been taken out. In this day and age, you just can't be too careful with that because you don't want somebody getting a hold of your information and you not realizing that something's on your credit report that shouldn't be.
Oh
So
yeah,
if
absolutely.
so I would definitely check with your financial, their online banking and mobile app. Um, in today's day, most financials have something like that. It's kind of like Credit Karma, but a little bit more better and accurate.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Another question. What is the biggest misconception you hear about credit from borrowers and or agents?
Sure. I think if I have a really, really great job and I can prove all my great income, I don't see why I can't buy a home.
Yeah.
And it boils down to that credit. We have to send it through a certain process and there's regulations and things like that. So you could make a ton of money, but if you haven't taken care of your credit and your name to that, you know, show that to the borrowers, then that's where the misconception comes in. Well, I have a great job. Yes, you do. But how can we get that, income to match your credit history?
So if someone is looking on their credit and they see something derogatory that they either don't recognize or hasn't fallen off, but it has been paid for,
Yep.
is there a specific process that they need to do to make sure that those things come off of their report?
Yes, and this is where the work really lies on the borrower. Like I've spent 15 plus years in consumer lending as well, and they just want you to call, MediaCom, and I can't. There's laws and rules. I can't call on your behalf. But sometimes on that credit report there will be an 800 number, and so just start there. Or there's a dispute links within annualcreditreport.com where you can dispute it right through the credit bureau, and they have to look at every dispute filed.
Okay.
It's not easy, but it's so funny. It's so easy for things to pop up on your credit, and it's a lot of work to get them removed. So that's why I always encourage keeping an eye on your credit, um, to make sure nothing is going on there.
Yeah, yeah, no. All of this information has been wonderful. Is there anything else that you can think of that we haven't really touched on?
I don't think so. Just I can't, encourage the listeners more to take care of that credit.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's your identity, it's your name. We've all made mistakes, and don't be scared to talk to somebody about them. We've all had those college roommates where your bill was in your name, but you didn't realize it, and then all of a sudden it's on your credit report. Um, and I always too give the advice of start small. If you've got some things to repair, don't get overwhelmed. Start with the small stuff, get those knocked out, and then reach out to some of those places to see, hey, what can I do to get this taken care of?
Mhm,
Because I want to be able to buy a home in the future.
mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Something else that I just thought of was so if they have some things on their credit and they are
Mhm.
wanting to still buy a home, what are the best ways to, is it more important to knock down some of those things that are on their credit or save more for a down payment? If they're having to, determine where are these funds going to be best
Yes.
allocated to serve them.
Well, we have to have that credit score at a certain point, right? So definitely try to knock out those small ones. A down payment is very important. Yes, there are options at Veridian for 100% financing, but I can't, finance your, you know, unfortunate things on your credit report when I'm buying a home, when you're buying a home. So it's a weird balance, right? You want to do both. But if the credit is overwhelming, then I would start with knocking those things off
Okay.
first. Definitely. Good question.
Wonderful, wonderful. So just to kind of recap for anybody who has been joining later on, make sure that you check your credit report on annualcreditreport.com. If you don't have credit, start small by opening a credit card and not using any more than 1/3 of that limit, and then making those consistent monthly payments. If you do have a credit history, make sure that you're checking it. And if you are thinking of purchasing a home, definitely consult with your agent and a mortgage loan originator.
You got it.
Yeah. Okay, Emily, thank you so much for coming on
Yes,
this morning. It was wonderful to have you.
absolutely.
And I hope everybody has a great rest of their week. If you guys have any questions, even after this has aired, definitely feel free to post those in the comments below, and one of us will reach out to you to make sure that your question has been answered.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.